What is your personal hack to fall asleep faster? Write in the comments what you think about it. What is your personal hack to fall asleep faster? Enjoy the show. Story 1. I've had trouble sleeping for over 30 years. I saw a TikTok where a sleep specialist recommended simply saying random, unrelated words in your head. It works 100% of the time for me. I'm asleep within 15 minutes. Like this: dog, cheese, hat, umbrella, block, gang, ear, elephant, triangle, box. Story 2. I've been told that I'm the chosen one with how well I'm able to fall asleep. All I really do is listen to my body when it first shows signs of being tired. Sometimes I can take a hefty 2 or 3 hour nap during the day and still get a full night's sleep. In the rare case I can't get to sleep, it's when I try to fight to stay awake longer. And then I end up with a second wind type of energy. Story 3. Form habits and reinforce them as much as you can. I try to use the bed I sleep in only when I want to go to sleep. I don't read in bed, use any devices, or watch TV. Being in bed equals sign sleep. Reinforce this by overlapping it with other habits, like going to bed at regular hours, doing a cleaning routine, turn off all lights and devices before you go lie down in bed, and so on. Also, avoid anti-sleep habits like taking stimulants in the evening. Your mind and body will in time adjust to this, which will give you sort of natural inertia towards falling asleep every time you perform those familiar rituals. When you then go lie down, you'll quickly take the next inevitable step in your routine. You lose consciousness. Story 4. I have an app called Samsung Sound Assistant. It allows me to play multiple app sounds at the same time and control the volume of each. This lets me play both my audiobook and YouTube video of rain sounds at the same time. I listen to audiobooks I've already listened to, so I know how it ends, but it gives me a focus for a brain that refuses to rest. I listen to these in a combination sleep mask, headphones, blocks out light flat against my ears. Story 5. Physical exercise during the day. Not eating after 8 p.m., going to bed at the same time each night, wearing blue light glasses, heavy blanket, shower 30 minutes before bed, and keep your hands and feet warm. These things are all huge contributing factors. I am a person who hates getting high and smoking weed, but Delta 8 vapes. I've had one last me for like 2 years, that's how little I use it, a tiny little puff before bed, and I'm out like a light. I don't get high, don't feel groggy, and it puts me out instantly. Story 6. No moving and focus on my breath. Make sure I breathe out slightly longer than I breathe in, and specifically pay attention to allowing a pause in between every inhale and exhale. If I'm overthinking, I play a video that I'm interested and also focus on listening to it while I do the other things. If I don't want to listen to something, I just pay attention to all the sounds around me. Hope this helps. Story 7. Read about a technique a few weeks ago and tried it. Seems to be working for me. You just think of a random word every 5-10 seconds, then another one that is completely unrelated to the previous one, then another one, etc. E.g., tree, bottle, window, candle, truck, brush, fox. The premise is that you need to break the continuity of your thoughts and making meaning of them so that there's no train of thought, because the words don't go together and are not forming a sense. It disrupts the train of thought since there isn't a way to make sense of the sequence, so the brain kinda resets. Sorry, I don't remember exactly how it was explained. Story 8. IDKY. But I have an awareness of how deeply I've fallen into sleep mode. I can't really explain it except if I feel like I'm having a hard time falling asleep. I ask myself if I'm closer to sleep than I am awake. Like if I open my eyes, will I have to start the process all over again? It somehow helps me calm down if I'm having a hard time, and I usually go to sleep pretty swiftly once I figure that out. Story 9. For those who find it difficult to shut off their brain in bed, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, or 3. Begin to count up to 30 in your mind. Keep your eyes closed and count steadily and not too fast. When you get to 30, allow your eyes to open a tiny little fraction, like just a sliver that allows a subtle ambient light in, and then count to 7 like this. When you get to 7, repeat the whole process with the slow, steady 30 count with eyes closed, followed by 7 count with eyes barely opened. On completing the second 7 count, close your eyes and focus exclusively on your breath entering and leaving your body, either the sensations in your nose or the sensations on your abdomen or chest as it moves against sheets or clothes. Just focus only on these breath sensations on the body and you'll gradually dull the mind towards sleep. If a thought grabs you and distracts you away from the process, just start from the beginning and go again. As a sometime chronic night thinker, this has been my most successful approach at overcoming that and allowing the sleep its best opportunity to just happen naturally. Story 10. Seeing as how most of the top comments aren't actual advice and just jokes, I will tell you that what works the best for me is counting backwards from 800. I find that I'm usually always asleep before I get to 760. There's something about having to count backwards that uses just enough brain power to distract your thoughts from roaming, but not enough to make you too focused on the task to sleep. Story 11. I take an imaginary walk through my childhood home. I start in the backyard, entering through the back garage door. There's another door that leads into the house. Just notice all the little details. I rarely get past the kitchen, second room, before I'm asleep. Sometimes I use my grandmother's house. It always works when nothing else does. I've used this hack hundreds of times without it losing effectiveness. I've never made it all the way through either house. Sometimes I use the front door instead. Story 12. My grandma was Catholic and we spent like a third of our childhood at her house. Either way, she taught us how to pray, and we would pray together before sleeping. In other words, praying is strongly associated with sleeping, at least in my brain, and thus when I feel that I can't turn off my thoughts and fall asleep, I start praying and I fall asleep halfway through. I'm not religious, but I'm thankful for my grandma and her prayers that are still helping me fall asleep. In a way, even when I'm very much an adult now, and she's no longer with us. Story 13. Usually I'll wear a Bluetooth headband and listen to a podcast until I fall asleep. A 30-minute podcast usually lasts me a week. When I can't do that, I imagine a big number 50 on top of a hill. I make it as big and colorful as I can, flowers and all sorts. When I can do any more, I change it to a 49 and so on. I've never got to 47. Story 14. An old hypnosis trick. Lay down on your back as comfortably as you can and close your eye. You're going to take long, deep breaths. When you exhale, breathe out. I want you to relax one side of your body. The next time you breathe out, I want you to relax the other side of your body. Try to imagine your left-right shoulder dropping. Breathe in. 1. Breath out. Relax your left side. Breathe in. 2. Breathe out. Relax your right side. And then repeat, while keeping the breathing pace steady. When I do this, I rarely get to 20 before I am out. Story 15. Struggled my entire life. Took Ativan for decades until I learned about mindfulness this past year. I essentially start meditating. Just concentrate on my breathing. When I start to have a thought, I notice it. Think now is not the time for thoughts. Let it slip away and go back to focusing on my breathing. I go out quick and sleep hard. I often wake up in the same position I fell asleep in now, before I was tearing the mattress cover off. Story 16. Count backwards from 300 at intervals of 3. 300, 297, 294, 291, etc. It focuses your mind enough that you don't let your thoughts wander. But it's not so mentally intensive that you need to put in any real effort. If you get to 0, you should just get up and go do something for half an hour. Nothing overly stimulating, but something that gets you out of bed so you don't just sit there rolling around like a rotisserie chicken. Then, after the break, try again. Story 17. A bed-sized tent made of lightweight blackout curtains. I go in there with a little blue star nightlight, pull down the flap, and go to sleep. If that doesn't do it right away, I turn on the heat pad underneath me. Warm and dark do the trick 90% of the time. The other 10% is usually when I haven't eaten GERD, and I need some milk to get my metabolism in the right place. Story 18. I imagine watching a baseball game from the center field stands and also as a live broadcast with announcers. It's super detailed and includes pitchers warming up on the mound before the inning, infielders fielding grounders from the first baseman, batters walk-ups, the music, crowd, everything. I never make it past the first inning. I've been doing this for years. Story 19. I rarely have trouble sleeping. If I do, I find a comfortable position, slowly slow my breathing down, calm my mind of worrying thoughts. I never go to bed worrying about tomorrow. I'll go to bed thinking about stuff I enjoy. If you're a movie buff, think of the next movie you want to see or your favorite scenes in your favorite movie. If you like to see, think about your best sewing job that came out fantastic or the next challenge you want to try. If that all fails, for me personally, soft rainfall will do it for me. I can just imagine that sound and I'm done. But I know that doesn't work for everyone. Another trick I did when I was younger was to try to relax every part of my body. I consciously think of my neck, arms, legs, body, etc., and just try to relax and sink into the bed, go one by one, and then do it again. Story 20. IDK if this is a good thing, but I'm in a arranged marriage with a man that's 5 years older than me. I just know one time we were chilling in bed, bored, watching TV while our son was asleep. And he just got up and went to the bathroom, grabbed melatonin and gave me some, and he took some, and when I took mine, a half, I'm 19, and he didn't trust me taking a full. Amazing! I fucking recommend it if you can't sleep! Anyways, cough? Yeah, we really don't get along, but I'm not Indian, by the way. I'm French and British. My fiancé is Russian and Korean. We just got forced married because his family owns a company. My family knows his, my dad works there, and it would be a good idea if we get married. It's not a fucking Wattpad story. I do get hurt by him some not shiny and rich, even though we are wealthy, but we did have a beautiful son. But I fucking recommend melatonin, fucking worth it. If you have kids, give them kids melatonin, trust me. My sister tried it on her 5-year-old kid, slept all night long. Story 21. My personal method for falling asleep quickly is what I call the blanket burrito maneuver. I wrap myself so tightly in my blanket that I resemble a human-sized burrito. Then I close my eyes and imagine I'm sleeping in a cozy Mexican restaurant with mariachi lullabies playing softly in the background. It's surprisingly effective at lulling me to dreamland, although it also sometimes makes me want to eat salsa in the morning. Story 22. Close your eyes and start thinking about a black void to empty your mind, and work on getting your mind to stop from there. Only think about a black void, not you in it, or you falling through it, just blackness. Also start from your head and work your way down your body, trying to release any tension on your muscles. Truly relax them and let your bed hold you. Don't forget about your jaw. I find myself clenching a lot of the times when going to bed. Story 23. I calmly think of something positive or fun, in as much detail as possible, and dive into deeper and deeper details in my mind. It usually takes 30 seconds to 3 minutes and I'm out. An example, if I can think about a sport I play, and think about a certain aspect of it, such as the gear, equipment, then think about how a particular part moves. Then I think about a smaller part of that piece of equipment, and how it reacts to the other parts around it. Then dive even deeper. Or calmly switch to a different part and think about it and how it's connected to the first part, potentially through other parts. Usually by this point, I'm out and dreaming. What I like about this technique is it takes my brain off the task of sleeping. Instead, I'm actually thinking about something I like doing or am interested in, so I'm not stressed. In fact, I'm conscious to only think about things that aren't stressful and block any stresses as soon as I realize. If I realize I'm suddenly thinking about a stressor, such as a bill to pay or any weird life stress, then I consciously take my mind back to thinking about the sport and equipment, the part, how it works and how it engages with other things. I find that it means my mind is focusing on something positive as I slip into unconsciousness, and that typically leads me straight into dreams from the get-go. It's nice. If anyone has anything they enjoy in life, mention it, and I'll explain what details I dive into to get my brain to relax. I can make it work for many things. A plant, furniture, a vehicle, paintings, etc. It might not work for everyone, but it works for me. Story 24. Going to sound counterproductive, but focus on relaxing. When you're in bed, actively try to relax your muscles. Most people don't realize how much they tense up even when in bed. Especially when your mind is racing, thinking of things that happened during the day and things that will happen tomorrow. So relax, think of playing dead, feel yourself melting into the bed, and sleep won't be far behind. Story 25. White noise, and also the most strangest thing I've never heard of anyone else do. I've thought of a novel in continuous chapters every night, still do actually. I know it all, just didn't put it on paper. I'd be knocked out sometimes before I could get a few sentences in my mind. Every night I continue where I left off. I've written non-published books before, so it's easy to think of a storyline. I know, I'm weird, I'm rare. Story 26. Personally, I daydream a lot. Since middle school, I'd just lay there and play a movie in my head with me at the center of it. It's like fanfic writing in your head, sometimes about fictional places and sometimes about how you want life to go. In middle school, I would daydream about being on the Argo 2 in the plot of the Heroes of Olympus series. Seriously, who wouldn't want to be on a flying boat? Well, me today, as I'm deathly afraid of heights. Today, I daydream about the life I want to have. Story 27. I imagine my body as a massive warehouse complex, and each department has to shut down and turn out the lights. Start off imagining all the thoughts and worries in my head are on pallets or in containers, being put away behind shutters, except there's nothing more I can do with any of that until the morning, Then, once everything loose has been stored and my head warehouse is empty, start shutting down. Start with your feet. Once you're comfy, radio down and have them confirm all clear, switch them off. Then ankles, lower leg, knees, all the way on up. If you move a body part that had already shut down, then start over. I rarely make it past my chest before I nod off. Story 28. Exercise. Just like your dog, you need to run yourself. Mental exhaustion doesn't do it. As much as it sucks to get into and to force yourself into, it's a win for your body and mind, and it will make you live longer, for better or for worse. Just do it. Might as well be miserable exercising yourself instead of abusing substances, binge eating, and being a miserable blob exacerbating the issue. Once you do it enough, you get addicted and your body craves it. Just like anything else. Only good things come from it. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.